message survived.
Yes.
Those who didn't get the message, we had to find alternatives for them.
Well,
You know.
I'm going to go to this from that. It's a difference in you survived at one point in time in your adolescence age and things of that nature there, but you now know that you have inspired. Now, we're going to jump back to the story, what should I say, the folklore from Dukas AC being among the youngest to go to Park and Branch. How did that go about?
Well, when you're talking about my activity in boxing. At age 14, I'll never forget that day. We were out on the corner because we used to always be on
Slap
the corner.
punch, yeah.
Slap punching, body punching. And a man named Timothy Still, he was a community activist. And he lived in the projects on 17th Avenue, but we lived around the projects. See, I grew up on 15th and Morris Avenue, and the Hayes Homes was like a block away.
Yes.
So
Big Food Town used to be over there. It might have not
well, it
been
was on
that
Springfield Avenue and Morris Avenue. You had this real long block, and once you got to the end of that block, you crossed Springfield Avenue. Now you're on West Kennedy Street in the projects.
Boyd Street and all that.
Yeah. And so he actually took us. He said, "You boys want to box?" Yeah. He said, "Come on." He said, "I got a place for us." He took us down to the gym, the Dukas AC. He had just started the Dukas AC because he was an old Duka from the 1940s.
It went back that far?
Oh, yeah. He was an original, Tim Still was an original Duka. See, it didn't start with us in the 60s.
Okay.
In the 60s, the second coming of the Dukas AC was your Danny Johnsons, Alvin Johnson, Freddie Johnson, Preston Crump.
Okay.
When we had our heavyweight, John White, we call him Spooky.
Spooky, yeah.
Lynn Campbell and Larry Hazard. Artie Randolph, Billy Vadere. We were the second coming of we were the Tim Still Dukas. Okay. And I have a picture from 1960.
Nice, you do.
Where they got all of us. And with Tim, he was our daddy. And he lived in 45 17th Avenue on the 8th floor. Yeah. And the gym was in the basement.
You know something, Uncle Larry? You're going to laugh. Now, I'm a South Ward guy. South Ward Boys Club with Benny and them up there. I never knew what Dukas was.
Yeah.
I think when I came, it wasn't there.
Well, Tim died, I think Tim died somewhere around 1968, 69.
That's 10 years.
The Dukas AC was right. You had the 4th precinct on 17th
Bigelow.
Avenue.
No, down by Bigelow.
17th, it was right.
Bigelow, 17th Avenue, 5th precinct we called it.
5th precinct. 4th precinct. 4th precinct. Not Bigelow. It was on Boyd. It was on 17th Avenue.
That big stack is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the projects 45, where Tim lived, was right across the street.
Okay.
Because as you know, that's where the disturbances broke out.
Yes.
And in the basement of 45, it was actually the storage room. And we used to wonder, when we go in the gym, on the door it said storage.
Right.
We didn't know. And we had a gym, and we had a ring in there with some mats on the floor.
On the floor?
Yeah, mats was on the floor. And it was, it was a makeshift ring.
Makeshift ring.
We had the ring, the ropes around, and we had a big mirror on the wall. And we had a heavy bag and a lighter bag and a speed bag and a shower.
Oh, you had a shower there?
We had a shower, a singular shower, And that was the Dukas. And he took us there, and we started training.
Did that really save your life?
Well, that along with my mother and my family, I came from I had a strong family ties and the neighborhood family.
When you say strong, you have a great uncle or uncle, TJ.
Yeah, my Uncle TJ.
How strong and influential was he to you?
Well, he was great influence.
You've spoke to me several times about how he was.
My Uncle TJ. Well, my father passed. I was 15.
Mm.
And you know, my dad was like a lot of the old school dads back then. You know, he worked all the time.
TV dinner, watch his program.
Came home and that was it.
Mama run the house.
Mama ran the show. You know. And so when my dad died, you know, Miss Odell was in charge of everything. And she knew how to take charge. Because she always...
You say she knew how to take charge.
She knew how to send a message.
That's funny.
You know, me and my brother Dez, we knew we were believers.
Uh-huh.
And my Uncle TJ, who was her brother, lived right around the corner.
Oh, so you had no radiance?
Oh, no, I had two brothers. I had two uncles. My Uncle TJ lived on the second floor. My Uncle Lester lived on the first floor in the same apartment house. And then my mother's cousin, who was the barber, Paige Harper.
Yes.
He lived right down the street.
That's a heck of a radius.
And my mother's other cousin lived close to the 14th Avenue. Everybody lived in the same neighborhood.
So you wasn't going to do nothing?
Well, you couldn't do nothing.
Wouldn't do nothing is the word.
You better not do nothing. You know, those were the days where your mother raised the window and called you.
And you better be within a radius she can hear you. You can hear her.
Well, if you didn't hear the neighborhood, so the word would get to you.
Yeah.
You know the word, your mama calling you, boy.
Yes, sir. You get going.
And you get going, you know. And so that's the life. But everybody will tell the same story.
Yes.
Everybody who grew up with me
and me
would be telling the same story that I'm telling. And they would be talking about their mother and their family and how the neighborhood helped raise them.
What's the difference now, Uncle Larry? The educator, not the commissioner, the educator.
Well, the difference now is that the family structure has dissipated.
Is it much different from when we grew up?
Oh, a whole lot different.
I always say,
yeah.
You're coming through school at the height of Vietnam. It's either work at the port, or PAPS or somewhere, or service or college. You only had 3 or 4 options. Same with myself.
That's right.
And that's your way out. Now, what comes into play now is I still say it's applicable that the times of when you and I grow up, which is basically the same era, baby boomers, it's still here now, but it might be earlier. No? That they run through things much more equatable because of the phone and just the neighborhoods per se.
Yeah, but we didn't have all of this.
You don't think so?
Oh, no, it's a difference. It's night and day from when I grew up, even from when you grew up, Poochie.
But they had hard drugs then too, Uncle Larry.
Yeah, they had, I had a cousin who was on drugs.
Yeah. All
from
of
the
us.
day that I seen them. You know, drugs was in the neighborhood. You know, you saw the guys, they was on the corner, drugs, you know.
Right.
We came through all of that. But still in all, the family structure was still there and it was stronger, in my view.
The last name is your most important asset.
Oh, and you protected that.
Don't bring nothing to it. Yeah.
You protected that because you actually felt that if you went down, your family went down, you know.
True.
And not only that, the respect for the adults in your family, which also went off into the neighborhood.
To the neighborhood, yes.
You had to respect.
You'd help somebody with their groceries or whatever. If he was down, you'd straighten up when Miss So-and-so came.
You know, I laugh at some of the stories that are told about some of these guys, some of these fighters who came up tough. And they often tell stories about these guys talk about how they would help old ladies home with their groceries in the neighborhood and rob the groceries. And I said, I don't know what neighborhood they came up in.
Because the neighborhood would have got you.
Man, if you are you kidding me?
Because you could go down there and get a pound of sugar and you'll take care of it Friday. Same with the barbershop. All of us go to the barbershop. Your father went there before you, if you knew your daddy or your uncles. Cut his hair this way. Oh, I want a part. You still wear that part up there, sir? Seeing if you still wear your part up there.
Yeah, but you see, you didn't disrespect nobody's mother. You didn't rob. Are you kidding me?
You played the Joneses, but if you talk about my mother, the game is over.
Yeah, but you talking about helping Miss Jones home with her grocery and then robbing her grocery? Man, they drop you off a roof, man.
Yes.
You get dropped off the nearest roof on your head.
That's true.
That didn't happen like that.
True. That's true.
You understand? There was a line, and you knew not to cross certain lines.
I'm going to take you back to when I'm working on the job, and you told my lieutenant, where's Officer Hill? He's looking. We're down in Broadway. This is when the fights was inside, and he got me there. My lieutenant, till this day, we still keep in contact. He didn't know. And you had Kason Saxon fighting that day, him and Dennis Porter.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to get into that. I want to get a little boxing. I want to get a little community. I want to get a little education. I want to get a little bit of you. Is that missing in the penal system now? Because it helps so many.
Well, you know, at Broadway you had Hadrack was the superintendent.
Heck of a guy. Miller,
and
Dennis Miller, a couple of them.
And the guy that has really been forgotten kind of in the boxing world in terms of promotion, Murad Muhammad.
Yes.
What Murad Muhammad did for boxing in the prison, Broadway State Prison, with James Scott and Dwight Braxton and a lot of others. Art Tucker, you understand? Televised national television.
Sanctioned.
You understand? And it did a lot for those guys. And to this day, you know, Murad Muhammad doesn't get the credit that he deserved for what he did as a promoter. But Hadrack, who was the superintendent at the time, he was a believer, okay? And he brought about a lot of these programs that were beneficial to a lot of those fighters at the time. And then at a certain point, the politics kicked in, and, you know, we got what we got now.
Well, let me ask you this here, because you were at the height of when it began in Atlantic City, and you're still there. Do you see boxing, along with your great endeavors of protecting combat competitors in MMA and boxing, do you see it coming back around?
Well, unfortunately, it's yes and no, but it's coming in a different way now.
Because a lot of your fighters are becoming football players.
Well,
the big guy, the big heavyweights.
The game is changing. The competitive level of the game is changing. The talent, you know, it's not the same.
It's a way of life now, survival. Monetarily, I should say.
Yeah, well, it's all about that now. You know, it does my heart well when I hear Terrence Crawford. He said, I didn't fight for the money, just for the money. And that's why he's the type of fighter he is.
Still has scruples.
And he's good, and he's excellent, because he wasn't fighting just for the money. He's fighting for the legacy and to be great. Fighters, a lot of fighters today, they're not fighting for the legacy of the sport and to be great, to be recognized as the best in the sport. They're fighting for other reasons. They're fighting for the money, and they're just fighting.
Support their family or whatever.
Whatever, you know.
Okay, well.
So it's different now.
Let's run it this here. You've been a commissioner so long, that's a precedent, that's a high bar. You're going to stay till the end?
Well,
your complete end, and you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
I think so.
Well, it's like this. Like, you know, you have to always ask yourself.
It goes back to what you said in the beginning. What you gonna do now?
Well, you have to look at your life this way. At least I look at my life this way.